Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Wally West Kid Flash. This is from the controversial Crisis on Infinite Earthswave. It's controversial because these figures cost more than usual. At the McFarlane toy store, they were $40 before shipping and taxes. I got the bundle discount and used the coupon code. If you include the 5th Build-A-Figure, it brings it down to about $27 after shipping and taxes, quite a bit more than usual. There are a lot of theories as to why, whether it be price gouging, or Target exclusive canceled wave, or limited run. Either way, here is in hand. Now, this is the smallest and most disappointing of the figures of the entire wave, I would say, for sure. Yeah, I've been wanting a Wally West Kid Flash, but I don't know. Not for this price, and he's just so small and reused, but either way, let's take a look. So, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus. This is a gold label figure. Gold label figure is simply a retailer exclusive. Whether it be Target or Walmart, this particular gold label is a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. DC Multiverse Kid Flash, collect a build the Monitor. One side of the package, Kid Flash, Crisis on Infinite Earths. He has display stand, collector's card, alternate hands, Monitor's legs, Kid Flash. The back, here's Monitor. Here are the pieces you get with Kid Flash. Here's instructions how to build them, and here's the rest of the wave. Kid Flash's barcode. So no further ado, let's open him up. And like I said before, I did get the entire bundle for the McFarlane Toy Store. Kid Flash, Psycho Pirate, the Spectre, and Superman. Get all 4 of them, and then you can also have the Monitor. There is a Platinum Chase variant of both Psycho Pirate and Spectre out there. If anybody happens to get one and is interested in trading or selling to me, please drop me a line in the comments below. I would really appreciate it. I hope McFarlane never makes a Platinum Chase variant on a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive again. Those dirty dogs. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He has a display stand, a collector's card, 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands, and then Monitor's legs. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Kid Flash. Wally West is Kid Flash, and this is an older version. He's an adult at this point. The events of Crisis on Infinite Earths are what led to Wally West becoming the actual Flash for a long period of time. He's done in the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body, and at first, I thought to myself, that body is way too big for Kid Flash. Kid Flash should be young, should be small, but like I said, this is an older version of Kid Flash, so it actually makes sense. Now, in the opening of the video, I said I was looking forward to this guy the least of the wave, and that is still true. It doesn't mean that I think this figure sucks. Yeah, he has his problems, but I was really looking forward to Spectre and Superman, and the Psycho Pirate also looks really cool, and of course Monitor. He's big, he's a Build-A-Figure, leaving Kid Flash as sort of dead last in this race. That being said, let's take a look at him. So, starting with his face here. Face looks good. It looks like an older version of Wally West. They did a good job with the chin and mouth area as well as the hair. No kid stuff going on here, but he's still in the sidekick outfit. Red lightning bolts on the side of his face. The hair just looks very nice. Very well done. As we go further down, it's on that Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. You can see those really weird looking abs poking out of the top. That's pretty much the main thing I hate about that body. It just looks so funky right here, and it's so noticeable to be using the same body because this looks so weird. He's got the yellow outfit, red pants, red gloves, red lightning bolt, yellow boots, very similar to the Flashpoint Flashes. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. As a whole, he looks good for a Kid Flash. He would look good with a teenage boy wonder Robin. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I'd say the face and head sculpt is probably the best part about this figure. I'd say there's nothing wrong with that there. And here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand we've seen plenty of times before. It's a black circle, thin, basic, but it gets the job done. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Wally West Kid Flash. Kid Flash from Crisis on Infinite Earths. And on the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Then we have Monitor's legs. Monitor is the Build-A-Figure of the Crisis on Infinite Earths wave. If you buy the entire wave, you get to collect to build Monitor. He's a huge player in Crisis on Infinite Earths on the good guy side of things. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 4 of them. 2 left hands, and 2 right hands. Now look at these 2 hands, 2 fisted hands. The right one is considerably larger than the left one, and it's also darker. They gave him mismatched fisted hands. My God, McFarlane, how dumb can you be? How does this sort of stuff slip through quality control? The right one is the typical Blue Beetle Booster Gold fisted hand. The left one is a lot smaller. He's probably supposed to have smaller hands because he's Kid Flash and he's a little bit younger character. But my God, either give him 2 big ones or 2 small ones. Do not give him one of each. That is so dumb, and they're not even painted properly. If you look at his running hands, they're painted the same as the smaller hand. The larger one is darker. McFarlane, come on. You're telling me for $40, I get Kid Flash on a completely reused body with mismatched sized hands and no Speed Force effects? Really, McFarlane? Really? I was already expecting to like him at least of the wave, and this is definitely reinforcing that. Here he is, with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. Yes, these are those ridiculously mismatched fists. My God, McFarlane, how the fuck do you pull something off that dumb? You have so many fists to choose from. Why would you pick one from this figure and one from this other random figure over here? And they're not even painted right. Obviously the large one is not supposed to be included with this set, but somehow they screwed everything up. The paint, the size. And here he is, with his second pair of hands. These are his running hands. These are definitely the hands I'm going to leave on this figure. Now I wanted to check out the differences and similarities between the Crisis Kid Flash and the Flashpoint Flash. Now they're both done on the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. That one has been used time and time again. But he's most similar to the Flash. Now, they're the same size, same height. And at first that really bothered me, as Kid Flash is typically a younger sidekick. But this is the young adult version of Kid Flash. So obviously their heads are totally different. The body, exactly the same. You can see the signature ab pieces on top looking pretty weird. Arms appear to be exactly the same. Yes, different hands, but he has that fisted hand, that big one that he shouldn't have. The diaper piece is different. The legs are exactly the same. The boots are the same. Now one small difference is this little thing here kind of goes upward, and this one here is pretty straight. So they're exactly the same figure, with the exception of the head, the diaper, the little sort of wing or whatever on his boot, and then this guy has the glove things added on. So some differences, but a lot of similarities. Now that I've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his mismatched accessories, now for his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.1 inches tall, which is going to translate to around 18 centimeters. And now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that much, not bad. Tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes up about 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got this butterfly joint ring between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and is going to be hinged as well. Double ball joint in the torso. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in the waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion in the torso area. On this guy, I get a little bit more of the torso than the waist. Legs, complete of splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is decent on this guy. Legs go forward about that much. Back, not at all. Double jointed knees. And then his ankle, forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and of course, to articulation. Here's a look at the Kid Flash, running through the city streets. Anti-Monitor approaches Psycho Pirate. He needs some of his special skill set. In exchange, he can feed on the emotions of the entire world. Of course, Psycho Pirate agrees. Anti-Monitor quickly releases Psycho Pirate from his cell in Arkham. Freedom. Time to destroy the multiverse. Here's a look at the Justice League Heroes of Earth 1, trying to defend the multiverse against Anti-Monitor. And then here's this Earth 2 Superman, teaming up with a younger Earth 1 Superman, trying to take on Anti-Monitor. Can they do it? To be continued. Psycho Pirate ends up fighting Monitor in the streets. Monitor gets the upper hand. Monitor ends up killing Psycho Pirate. Flash finds his deceased body later. Crisis on Infinite Earths. Here's a look at the Anti-Monitor, killing the Monitor, making a way to destroy the multiverse. Can anyone stop him now? And only the Spectre is strong enough to take on Anti-Monitor. During the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Barry Allen Flash dies. Wally West puts on the costume and becomes the new Flash. He remains Flash for many, many years in real time. It turns out that Barry Allen didn't exactly die, but became one with the Speed Force. Wally West eventually frees him. Now let's check him out. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Crisis on Infinite Earths figures, and then some other Flash and Speed Force figures. Here he is, with the rest of the Crisis Wave, Spectre, Kid Flash, Superman of Earth 2, and Psycho Pirate. If you buy the entire wave, you get a collect-to-build Monitor. He's a big player in the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline on the good guy side of things. And here he is, next to Anti-Monitor, also a big player in the Crisis storyline on the bad guy side of things. Now let's check him out, next to some other Kid Flash figures. Here he is, next to the Mattel DC Universe Classics, Wally West Kid Flash. Now there's way more than a 1-inch difference between these guys. McFarlane is 7-inch scale, Mattel is 6-inch scale. Of course, the McFarlane version is a young adult Kid Flash, and the Mattel version is a small child Kid Flash. Here he is, next to McFarlane's Wallace West Kid Flash. This is the new Kid Flash in the DC Rebirth comics. McFarlane made 2 different versions of the Wallace West Kid Flash. The regular version and the Speed Metal version. And here he is, next to the DC Direct version of the Wallace West Kid Flash. Then, here he is with all of my other McFarlane Wally West figures. We have the Justice League Unlimited Wally West, Kid Flash Wally West from Crisis, and then a couple of versions of Wally West as Flash from the Rebirth comics. Now let's check him out, next to some other McFarlane Speed Force figures. Here he is, next to a Barry Allen Flash. Then, next to the original Jake Garrick Flash. Then, next to Impulse, another young Flash sidekick character. Here he is, next to the Reverse Flash. Then, next to Godspeed, another speedster. And now, next to the Dark Flash. And finally, next to the Red Death from the Dark Knight's Metal. Here are absolutely all of the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Speed Force figures they've done. Quite a bit so far, and there are plenty more coming up. The next one's going to come out is more likely going to be the Rival. That's a Target exclusive. But there's also a Wally West Flash that's going to be a Walmart exclusive. Those are both on the horizon. Here's Kid Flash, next to Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. These guys come out in a 2-pack, and were the first figures to use the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body, which has been used to death at this point. He shares the most pieces with the Flashpoint Flash. Boots are almost identical, and most parts of the body are too. Even Psycho Pirate from this wave shares a lot of parts with the Blue Beetle body. The legs, the arms, the stomach. The only different parts are the diaper piece, the upper part of the torso, and the head. Here are all the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that utilize the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. They've used it to death 12 times so far, and they're going to use it to death some more. I don't necessarily hate the body, but the boot sculpted line, when it is not appropriate, bothers the hell out of me, and those top 2 abs look really weird. Psycho Pirate here is the only one that doesn't use the top part with the abs, and I think that's a big improvement on the body. Now let's check him out, next to some recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the most recent Batman wave. We have both the Platinum and Batpod versions of the Dark Knight Rises Catwoman, the Ben Affleck Batman from Batman vs Superman, and the Christian Bale Batman, Hong Kong Skydive, both the Platinum and Unmasked versions. Here's Kid Flash, next to the Nightfall Nightwing and the DC Classics Smiling Superman. And here he is, next to both the regular and the Platinum Chase variant of the Reign of the Superman Steel. Then, next to Bizarro and Bat-Zarro 2-pack. And now, with some McFarlane Toy Store exclusive figures, we have the Nightmare variant of Batman in his Hellbat armor, and the Deadly Duo Joker. Next, with the Entertainment Earth exclusive Blacklight Mr. Zero, and the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Black and White Accent Red Hood. And finally, next to the Target exclusive Animal Man and Red Tornado. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some DST or Diamond Select toys. Here he is, next to a large container of pens and pencils. And here he is, Next is some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, next is some SH figure arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a good figure, and I really want to like it, but let's look at this figure objectively. So, his head is actually fantastic. I think the face looks good, the hair looks good, no problem with his head. The body, it's appropriately sized, but I really don't like the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. The abs look so weird. The height, at first I had a problem with it. I thought Kid Flash should be much smaller, but this is a young adult Kid Flash, so it actually is quite appropriate. Go further down. The boots, mostly reused from the Flashpoint Flash, but it works. They look pretty good on him. Maybe a little bit big compared to the legs. And same with his sort of forearm, I don't know, glove things. It just looks a little bit bigger than it should be. His hands, that is inexcusable. The two fists that are mismatched, one is bigger than the other, one's even painted differently. That sucks. That is just so lazy and dumb of an oversight on their part. Obviously it wasn't intentional, but how could that slip through quality control? And then the rest of the accessories that are not there. This guy should at least have Speed Force effects. They don't even have to make anything new. They've made so many of them. Just re-release something from a Flash figure. Hell, re-release the ones from the Flashpoint Flash, because they should fit on this body just fine. And then we have the price point. Charging $40 for this figure instead of the usual $25. It really sucks. So, what are you getting for the extra price? Well, you're getting a completely reused body. You're getting mismatched hands. You're getting no Speed Force effects and no additional accessories. You're getting nothing extra. Now, I do believe this was the canceled Target wave, yearly wave, because there doesn't seem to be a yearly Target wave this year, but that doesn't justify the price increase. They decided to take something that was rejected or passed up on by retailer and said it was some sort of exclusive, and maybe it was, but either way, the price is not justified. If these figures were the usual $25, and you got the bundle discount, coupon code, all that good stuff, people would overlook these little issues a lot more than they are now. For example, Psycho Pirate's boot cut at the bottom that shouldn't be there. Superman's belt that's not painted on the back. Kid Flash's mismatched hands and lack of accessories. If you look at the entire wave, Spectre used the Martian Manhunter body. Kid Flash uses the Blue Beetle body. Psycho Pirate also uses the Blue Beetle body. Superman is brand new, and they've done some really cool stuff with him. The elbows and the knees. I really have no issues with Superman. And Monitor himself is also a brand new body. Superman is the only one even remotely worth the price. And the truth is, even he's not worth the price. But Kid Flash is definitely not worth the price. My God, how could all these things slip through the cracks? A premium, extra price wave like this should be top notch. Everything should be brand new. Should be great quality control. And if they weren't going to do the Kid Flash, they should have pushed him to another wave and released something a little better here. That's just my 2 cents. Like I said, I really want to like the figure. And there's a lot of stuff to like about him. We've never got a proper Wally West Kid Flash, although personally I would prefer the younger version on a smaller body. Head looks great. Body looks good for what it is. If I were to rate this figure, if you ignore a lot of the things I just said, looking at the figure just by himself, probably worth a 7 out of 10. Take the price, take the mismatched hands, all that crap, 5 out of 10, that's probably being generous. And like I said, I really want to like this guy. He looks good, at least his head does, and the body doesn't even look that bad. But if you look at all the baggage that comes with him, McFarlane done fucked up on this wave and on this guy. Like I said, Superman, excellent release. Monitor, pretty good. I really like the Spectre figure, and I even really like Psycho Pirate. But I can't deny the laziness, the shortcuts, the reuse, the parts that aren't appropriate, and the extra price that is grossly unjustified. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.